our school system, and there's time right now for people to give feedback to it. The major feedback I don't think is really on the points that I think are what y'all are concerned about. I mean, I think what most people are concerned about is, don't make me feel guilty for who I am, what my race is, what my sex is, you know, that I'm from the United States, I'm a proud United States person. To me, those are kind of the points, the big points that people are not happy about, or that they're fearful is being pushed in our school system. What I think is actually coming down from the state, where we're looking for feedback, is some of the kind of procedures on how it's implemented and that kind of thing. And I mean, you might have more thought, but I mean, there's a lot. I have to say, when I started looking at some of the punitive stuff and everything like that, I do think there needs to be more conversation about it. At the board level, as Susan Moore said, we really are not talking about critical race theory. Talking to our curriculum people, actually talked to Mr. Lowe before I came, you know, when he wanted me to come talk to y'all, and I said, this is really not a subject I'm real knowledgeable about. This is really being played out on the national and the state level, and, you know, I went and talked to my curriculum people. We do have policies in place to deal with this. We follow laws that are set by the state. We have standards that come down from the education department, and that's what's taught. And there are procedures and policies in place to get things approved and things like that. So, you know, talking to our curriculum people, they feel like we are now following kind of what the state guidelines are currently. I don't know that, I think this is something people are afraid is coming here. I don't think it's a problem here. I mean, maybe someone will call me later and give me an instance that they know of, but and I'm happy to talk about it. But I do think, I mean, personally, this, and I told Mr. Lowe this is not what keeps me up nights about education. What keeps me up nights about education is our third grade literacy levels. It's our math fluency. It's our kids being ready for the workforce. That's what I care about. And we've got a lot of work to do, and after last year, we're gonna have our scores coming out fairly soon, and across the state, they're abysmal. And I can pretty much guarantee you, Knox County is probably better than a lot of places that were totally virtual. And that's one thing I have to say, I can be critical of what we do sometimes. One thing I'm really proud of is that we were in person for the most part last year. And we conducted school, and I mean, this is one thing I've heard from several of y'all talking about. You've moved here from out of state. I was talking to one of our curriculum people over science, and she said, this is the best crop of new teachers she's ever seen. And what's happened is we have attracted people from all over the country. People were very proud of the fact that we actually had face-to-face school, and they're teachers. They want to teach kids. And so we got a whole lot of experienced teachers here in Knox County that came into our school system this year, which I think is great. You know, they're experienced. They, you know, they're not going through that first-year teacher thing. And, you know, I think this is a conservative group. I think what attracts many of these people, I'm a realtor. I see it. What's attracting people to Knoxville right now is the fact that it's a conservative place. And I'm just going to be out there. I am nonpartisan. And I'm very in the middle about things. I'm a very great person. I see both sides all the time. And I know this probably might not be this crowd, but that's one reason probably the only role I'll ever run for is school board, because it is a nonpartisan race. And I do live in this area, and I think, you know, I get pretty good feedback in my area. There are plenty of people that disagree with what I disagree, you know, with what I say sometimes and stuff like that. But overall, I think I do represent the values of a lot of people in my district. But what I really think is so important now is Wednesday night, we will be voting on ESSER funds. And I wouldn't even try to bore you with the whole presentation that Betsy and I have gone through twice about how we're going to spend ESSER funding. But it really is exciting to have some money outside the budget to spend, you know, our typical operational budget, to spend on things to really concentrate and dig down on literacy, really dig down on, you know, math skills in the middle school, to really look at retaining teachers. How do we attract more teachers? Really doing a lot of exciting things. It is only 3 year, it's money that will last for 3 years, so we can't make it operational money that will, you know, we've got to think about it in that way. Another Another thing that I think is really exciting that we're doing, and I'm going to let you chime in anytime, but we just heard too about a partnership with Ford Next Generation, and it's all about getting our kids ready for the workforce. And to me, that's what's really important right now. And it's about partnerships, it's about, and I hope all of you, I mean, I can tell if y'all are out here on a Monday night, y'all are citizens that care about Knoxville being a better place. And this Ford Next Generation is all about that. How do we make our school system better, and how do we make our kids better prepared to go to work for any of y'all's businesses? And what part of that is we're gonna ask for business people and community members to be part of this process. It's a process and it's very individualized to the community. So those are the things that are exciting me. Like I said, I really think Mr. Lafferty really, touched on a lot of the main issues with the critical race theory, but if you have more questions in particular about that, I'll turn it over to Betsy. She can answer all the questions.
Yes, please. So I've been on the board for 8 months. And so when I was running, I had no idea that the world was going to end and all of these issues were going to come up. So it has not been a boring 8 months. And I do feel very blessed that our state leaders have taken such a lead on this legislation. That way that, members like Virginia and I can focus on things like literacy. We can focus on math, getting our kids.
The butterfly run is back.
We live in the greatest